Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're your shortcut to getting really informed, maybe with a few surprises and hopefully enough interest to keep you listening. Today, we're jumping into something pretty personal for a lot of people, but honestly, it's often misunderstood. Male fertility.
Right.
Specifically, we're tackling a question that sounds simple, but there's a ton of new science bubbling under it. Can your workout routine actually mess with male fertility?
Yeah.
Is there, a thing as too much exercise? Or maybe too little when you're trying for a baby?
It's a really critical question.
You might think you've got this figured out, but stick with us. By the end of this deep dive, I bet you'll have some real aha moments about finding that sweet spot, that Goldilocks zone for reproductive health.
It's definitely crucial, and it's evolving fast. What's really interesting is the recent stuff. Studies from like 2024, 2025. They're totally changing how we see this.
Really?
Yeah, we're moving past the old wives' tales now. This is solid science. I mean, just think, globally, maybe 15% of couples face infertility.
Wow, 15%.
And male factors, they're involved in roughly half of those cases. So this isn't some tiny issue. It's affecting a lot of people.
It's not just a women's issue then, far from it.
Exactly. So our mission today really is to figure out what scientists are calling this Goldilocks principle for exercise and male fertility. Not too much, not too little.
But just, right, okay, so let's start with the too little side.
Yeah.
You know, the Netflix and chill folks, or honestly just people with desk jobs, which is a lot of us.
Right.
What's actually happening inside the body physiologically that could be hurting fertility if you're mostly inactive?
Yeah, that's a great place to start because being sedentary, it's definitely a big problem for male fertility.
Oh.
When you're consistently inactive, a few really important biological things get messed up. First off, you get poor blood circulation, especially down to the testes.
Right. That makes sense.
Think about it like this. Making sperm is like a super active process metabolically. It's a delicate factory, needs constant oxygen, fresh nutrients.
Like a production line that needs supplies.
Exactly. So if the blood flow is sluggish, it's like trying to grow a really lush garden without enough water or sun. The key stuff just isn't getting there efficiently. The whole factory slows down.
That garden analogy makes it crystal clear. It's not just about energy. It's delivering all the building blocks sperm need.
Precisely.
So beyond that blood flow, what else starts going wrong if you're inactive? What are the other dominoes?
Well, beyond the poor circulation, guys who are inactive often have higher levels of chronic inflammation all over their body. And that includes in those sensitive reproductive tissues.
Inflammation too, huh?
Yeah. And critically, being inactive is really strongly linked to messed up hormone profiles. We're talking lower testosterone.
Right.
And at the same time, higher levels of cortisol, the main stress hormone.
Cortisol, bad news.
And both of those hormone imbalances, they work against healthy, strong sperm production and survival. It's basically a systemic challenge to the whole reproductive setup.
Okay, so getting off a couch is definitely step one, like foundational.
Yeah.
But here's where I know I've messed up before, and probably a lot of you listening too. There's this mindset in fitness, right? If some exercise is good, then more must be better.
Oh, yeah, that's a common one.
We think if we're really pushing ourselves, like beast mode, we're optimizing everything. Can you unpack why someone who looks incredibly fit, maybe even an elite athlete, might actually be hurting their fertility by going too extreme?
That's a really sharp question because that more is better idea, while it works for hitting performance goals, can actually backfire pretty badly for reproductive health.
Wow.
The latest research, especially studies looking at elite endurance athletes, Ironman types, ultramarathoners, people really pushing their bodies to the absolute edge, it clearly shows this kind of paradoxical effect.
So the very thing that makes them seem super fit could be putting baby making on the back burner. How does that even work?
Exactly right. What happens with excessive, really intense exercise is it profoundly disrupts something we call the HPG axis, hypothalamic pituitary gonadal axis.
Okay, HPG. Sounds complicated.
It's basically the master control system. Think of it like the direct phone line between your brain and your testes.
Got it.
It's what tells the testes to make testosterone and, crucially, to make sperm. Now, when your body is under that intense chronic stress of extreme training, it basically flips into survival mode.
Survival mode. Okay.
Yeah, think about it. Your brain's wired for immediate survival. If it senses this constant, intense physical demand, like, hours and hours of high-intensity workouts, it starts asking, can we even find food or escape danger right now?
Right. Basic needs first.
Exactly. And reproduction, that's seen as a biological luxury when you're in crisis mode. So it's one of the first things the body puts on hold to save energy. It's primal, makes sense from an evolutionary view, but obviously terrible if you're trying to conceive.
Wow, that's powerful. Your body's basically thinking it's fighting for its life, not trying to make a new one. It's like a biological misunderstanding.
Totally. And beyond just the hormones, intense exercise also creates a ton of oxidative stress.
Oxidative stress.
Yeah.
Heard that term.
Think of the free radicals involved as like tiny bits of rust inside your cells. They don't just age you faster. They directly attack and damage the delicate DNA inside your sperm.
The actual blueprint.
Exactly, the genetic blueprint. And that's absolutely critical for the sperm's ability to fertilize an egg and create a healthy embryo. Plus, this kind of extreme activity ramps up overall inflammation and can even directly damage the testicular tissue itself where sperm are made. It's like a multi-level attack.
Yikes. Okay, so it really sounds like a balancing act. Going too far, either way too little or too much is bad news. But here's the good news, right? There is a sweet spot, a Goldilocks zone, that can actually give your fertility a significant boost.
Yes, potentially. And
Yeah.
that's the really encouraging part.
So can you give the details? What does just right actually look like based on the science?
Okay, let's get specific. The data is pretty clear now. Men who did moderate outdoor exercise for more than 1.5 hours a week, they showed a pretty amazing 42% higher sperm concentration compared to sedentary guys.
42%. That's huge. From just over an hour and a half a week.
Yeah, it's a significant jump. That seems to be a key threshold where the benefits really start showing up. And similarly, guys who lifted weights for more than 2 hours per week showed 25% higher sperm concentrations.
25%. Also very meaningful.
These are real numbers that can make a difference for couples trying.
And that amount, 1.5 hours of outdoor stuff or 2 hours of weights a week, that's incredibly doable for most people. We're definitely not talking about training like an Olympian here.
Not at all. It's very achievable.
But does the type of exercise matter? Is all activity created equal in this zone?
No, the type matters a lot. Let's break down the winners and the potential losers in the fertility exercise game.
Okay, lay it on us. Given what you just said about like heat and pressure down there, I'm already suspicious about some things.
Yeah.
Like cycling, maybe. Are there definite losers?
Your intuition is spot on there. Cycling often comes up as a problem area. Studies show men cycling more than 1.5 hours per week had, on average, 34% lower sperm concentration.
Wow, 34% lower. Why is cycling specifically?
It's kind of like a triple whammy. First, the constant pressure from the bike saddle can restrict that crucial blood flow we talked about.
Starving the factories again.
Exactly. Second, that same saddle traps heat right against the scrotum, which raises the temperature. Sperm production needs things to be slightly cooler than core body temp, so you're essentially kind of cooking them slightly.
Not good.
Not good. And third, the sustained position, the friction. It can cause micro trauma in the area. So you put it all together, pressure, heat, potential trauma. It's a perfect storm for lowering sperm count and quality.
Okay, so for guys who love cycling, maybe dial it back a bit if trying to conceive is the priority. Or look into different saddle types, maybe?
Definitely moderation is key, and maybe exploring ergonomic saddles or padded shorts could help mitigate some issues, but limiting duration seems most effective according to the data.
Got it. So if cycling is on the caution list, what are the clear winners? What should people be aiming for?
The research really points to a combination approach being the gold ticket. Aerobic exercise plus moderate resistance training.
Okay, examples.
Think activities like jogging, swimming, hiking, even just brisk walking. Things that get your heart rate up moderately, but don't leave you totally wiped out.
Right. Sustained effort, but not max effort.
Exactly. And then combine that with some moderate weightlifting. Compound movements are great. And interestingly, yoga also shows up as highly beneficial.
Yoga. How does that help?
Well, it's excellent for reducing stress hormones like cortisol.
Which we know is bad for fertility.
Right. It also improves circulation, helps balance hormones generally, and crucially, it does all this without creating that significant oxidative stress you get from really intense cardio. It's a fantastic low-impact choice.
That's fascinating. So yoga isn't just for flexibility. It's actively calming the system in a way that helps fertility.
Oh.
Okay, so someone's listening now. They're thinking, right, I want to optimize this. I want the fertility blueprint. What's the practical game plan? How do they build a realistic weekly routine?
Okay, let's map out a clear, actionable fertility workout blueprint. First, aerobic activity. Aim for about 150 minutes of moderate activity per week.
150 minutes.
Yeah.
It was like 2.5 hours total.
Yep, works out to just over 20 minutes a day on average. Could be a brisk walk, light jog, swimming, whatever you enjoy. The key is consistency and keeping the effort moderate, not going all out.
Okay, totally doable. Most people can squeeze in 20-30 minutes a day. What else?
Then, add in resistance training, about 2 to 3 sessions per week.
How long should those be?
Around 30 to 45 minutes each session is plenty. Focus on those big compound movements, squats, deadlifts, bench press, rows, things that work multiple muscle groups. But again, the mantra is nothing crazy.
Right, building functional strength, supporting hormones, not training for Mr. Olympia.
Exactly. You're supporting your body, not breaking it down.
Okay, and intensity. This seems critical for hitting that Goldilocks zone. How hard should you feel like you're working?
Intensity is absolutely key. For the aerobic stuff, aim for around 60–70% of your maximum effort. A really practical way to gauge this is the talk test.
The talk test.
Yeah, you should be able to carry on a conversation pretty comfortably while you're doing your cardio. If you're gasping for air and can only get out 1 or 2 words, you're probably pushing too hard for this specific goal.
Okay, conversational cardio. Makes sense. What about the weightlifting?
For weights, you should feel challenged. Definitely, like the muscles are working, but you shouldn't feel completely drained or wiped out after a set or after the workout. You shouldn't be struggling to catch your breath for ages or feeling so sore the next day you can barely move. It should feel energizing overall, not depleting.
Energized, not depleted. Got it. That's a good rule of thumb. Now, timelines. If someone starts this optimized routine today, how quickly can they realistically expect to see changes? We're talking months, years.
This is really important for managing expectations. Sperm have a life cycle, right? It takes approximately 74 days for a sperm cell to fully develop from its early stage to being ready for ejaculation.
74 days. So just under 2.5 months.
Exactly. So when you make positive changes to your exercise routine or diet or anything else, you need to give it about that long to see the full impact reflected in your sperm quality analysis. So expect results within about 2.5 to 3 months.
Okay, 3 months for the full picture.
Yeah. And the good news is the improvements can be really significant. Studies have shown improvements of 15–25% in things like sperm count, motility, that's how well they swim.
Right.
And morphology, which is their shape and structure. Getting those right can make a big difference.
Definitely motivating, knowing measurable changes could happen in just a few months. Okay, let's shift gears a bit. What about the guys who are already deep into fitness? The CrossFit addicts, the marathon runners, the Ironman competitors. People whose lives revolve around intense training.
Yeah.
Do they need to seriously consider scaling back if fertility becomes the priority?
Look, this can be a really tough conversation because for many of these guys, that intense fitness is a huge part of their identity, right?
For sure.
Telling someone who lives for their Ironman training to dial it back can feel like you're asking them to give up who they are. So how we frame it matters. But yes, if fertility is the primary goal right now, the recommendation is usually to temporarily scale back the training volume, maybe by around 30–40% during the specific period they're actively trying to conceive.
30 to 40%.
Yeah.
That's a noticeable cut.
It is, but think of it as strategic periodization, specifically for reproductive health. It's not about quitting forever. It's about adjusting priorities for a season, maybe 6 months or a year, to support this other really important life goal.
That's a good way to frame it, strategic periodization for baby making. Okay, tough pill for some, maybe, but makes sense if conception is the goal. Now, flip side. What about guys starting from zero, haven't really exercised in years, maybe never consistently?
Right.
How should they begin without accidentally jumping into that too much zone and causing that oxidative stress you mentioned?
For anyone starting from a sedentary baseline, the absolute key is start slow, build gradually.
Slowly does it.
Yeah. If you jump straight into some hardcore routine, you're just going to shock the system, create more inflammation, more oxidative stress. Exactly what we want to avoid. So, start really simply. Maybe 15–20-minute walks each day.
Just walking.
Just walking to start. Then slowly add in some basic bodyweight exercises, push-ups, squats, lunges, planks, things you can do at home. Build up the duration and intensity really gradually over, say, 6 to 8 weeks.
6 to 8 weeks to ramp up.
Yeah, the goal is consistent, gentle movement first to wake everything up. Let the body adapt. Don't aim for high intensity right out of the gate.
Okay, that sounds much less intimidating. It's about respecting where your body is right now, whether that's elite athlete or couch potato.
Exactly.
Now, beyond the workout itself, what other factors kind of weave into this picture? Does age, for instance, change how exercise impacts fertility?
Age definitely plays a role. Older men, say over 40, might be a bit more susceptible to the negative effects of excessive exercise on fertility compared to a guy in his 20s. Their systems might not bounce back quite as quickly from intense stress.
Okay, so maybe even more important to find that moderate zone as you get older.
Potentially, yes. And nutrition is huge, obviously. Eating antioxidant-rich foods, think blueberries, dark chocolate, green tea, nuts, seeds, that becomes even more important to help your body combat the oxidative stress that even moderate exercise generates.
Counteracting the rust.
Exactly. And making sure you're getting enough key nutrients like zinc and vitamin D is also vital for sperm health.
Right. And hydration, I assume, is always key.
Absolutely essential. Good hydration is crucial for blood flow, for flushing out metabolic byproducts, everything. And here's maybe a little pro tip.
Right. Okay.
Try to avoid drinking from plastic water bottles, especially if they've gotten hot, like left in a car or during a workout. Heat can increase the leaching of chemicals from the plastic into the water, and some of those can act as endocrine disruptors, which you want to avoid.
Good tip. Glass or stainless steel bottles, then?
Ideally, yeah. And speaking of heat, just general heat exposure is a big one to manage.
Like saunas and hot tubs.
Yeah, elevated scrotal temperature is really detrimental to sperm production. They need to be slightly cooler than the rest of the body.
Huh.
So limiting things like long hot sauna sessions or extended hot tub soaks is wise. Maybe keep them short, maybe once a week max if you really enjoy them. And opt for cooler showers after workouts instead of steaming hot ones. Even tight underwear, some argue, could trap heat.
So keep things cool down there. Now let's touch on something that comes up a lot in fitness circles, sometimes controversially. Performance-enhancing stuff. Supplements, steroids. Some guys might think, hey, if I boost my testosterone with this stuff, won't that help fertility?
Oh, this is such a critical point and a really dangerous misconception.
Okay.
Anabolic steroids, and honestly, many of those over-the-counter testosterone boosters, they can actually shut down your body's natural sperm production completely.
Shut it down.
When your body detects high levels of testosterone coming in from an external source, like steroids, its own production signals get switched off. It says, oh, we have plenty, no need to make more. But that shutdown includes the signals from the brain, that HPG axis, telling the testes to make sperm. So the factory literally closes down.
Wow. So the very thing you think is going to make you more manly or whatever could actually make you infertile.
Temporarily, yes. It's actually one of the most common causes of reversible male infertility that specialists see. The good news is it's usually reversible once the person stops taking them, but it can take months, sometimes longer, for production to restart fully. It's a serious side effect people need to be aware of.
That's a huge warning. Okay, what about stress? We know exercise can be a great stress reliever, but can the workout routine itself become a source of stress?
Absolutely, and that's incredibly important. Exercise should ideally reduce your overall stress load. But if your workout routine turns into another source of pressure...
Like if you're obsessing over numbers.
Exactly. If you're constantly worried about hitting specific times or weights, or if you feel intense guilt or anxiety when you miss a planned session, that psychological stress can be just as harmful to fertility as physical overtraining.
Because stress raises cortisol. Right. Back to that hormone.
Precisely. That psychological stress triggers the same cortisol response, disrupting the HPG axis, telling your body it's not a safe time for reproduction. The mindset you bring to your exercise matters enormously. It should feel like self-care, not another obligation causing anxiety.
So the mental side is just as important as the physical reps and sets. How does that stress actually, manifest physically to hurt sperm?
Well, the elevated cortisol, as we said, directly suppresses the signals for testosterone production. Lower testosterone means less fuel for the sperm factory. Plus, chronic stress can increase inflammation and oxidative stress throughout the body, further impacting sperm quality and function. It's all interconnected mind, hormones, inflammation, sperm health.
Okay. And sleep. That's got to be huge here, too.
Absolutely critical. Sleep is prime time for hormone production, including testosterone, and also for cellular repair and reducing inflammation. Both are vital for fertility.
Does workout timing affect sleep?
It can. While regular exercise generally improves sleep quality, doing really intense workouts too close to bedtime can actually interfere with falling asleep for some people.
Oh.
It gets you too revved up.
Right, adrenaline and stuff.
Yeah. So a good rule of thumb is to finish any high-intensity exercise at least 3, maybe 4 hours before you plan to hit the sack. Gentle stuff like stretching or light yoga in the evening, that's usually fine, can even help you wind down.
Makes sense. Okay, what about guys with physically demanding jobs? Construction workers, warehouse staff, movers. Does their workday count as exercise? Do they still need to add gym time?
That's a really practical question, and yes, absolutely. If your job involves significant physical labor all day, that definitely counts towards your overall physical activity.
So they might not need extra intense workouts.
Probably not. In fact, for those guys, adding more intense workouts on top might push them into that too much zone. Their focus might be better placed on things like mobility work, stretching to counteract repetitive movements, maybe stress management techniques, and ensuring good nutrition and recovery rather than piling on more physical stress.
Okay, so it's about the total load on the body.
Exactly.
And for the opposite, the modern reality for many desk jobs, long commutes, maybe lots of travel involving sitting, what specific advice counters the effects of all that sitting?
Yeah, prolonged sitting is definitely an issue. It can increase that scrotal temperature we talked about,
Bad for sperm.
right? And it can also reduce blood flow in the whole pelvic region. So if you have a desk job or travel a lot, make it a real habit to get up and move around every hour, even just for a couple of minutes. Stand up, stretch, walk around the office or the house.
Break up the sitting time.
Crucial. Consider a standing desk if that's an option. And when you do schedule your workouts, maybe focus on activities that specifically boost pelvic blood flow. Walking is great, squats, hip circles, things like that, to counteract all those static hours.
Okay, actionable tips there. Now, for anyone maybe feeling a bit discouraged, thinking, oh man, I've been doing this wrong for years. Maybe they were an extreme exerciser or totally sedentary. Is the damage done? Is it permanent?
Okay, this is the really hopeful message I always want to end on. In the vast majority of cases, any negative impact from exercise habits is completely reversible.
Completely reversible. That's huge.
Yeah. Remember that sperm regeneration cycle?
Yeah.
74 days?
The 2.5 to 3 months.
So, if you make the adjustments, scale back from extreme exercise, or start incorporating moderate activity if you are sedentary, you can expect to see significant improvements in sperm quality within just that time frame, 2 to 3 months. Your body is incredibly resilient and good at healing and optimizing when you give it the right conditions. I've personally seen many guys make remarkable turnarounds just by adjusting their routines. It is absolutely not too late to start.
That is incredibly encouraging. Like your body wants to work properly. You just need to give it the right signals.
Precisely.
Okay, so if someone wants to put this all together, design their perfect Goldilocks week, can you walk us through a concrete example schedule? What might that look like?
Sure, let's map out a sample week. This is just an example. Obviously, people can tailor it, but it hits those key principles of balance and recovery.
Okay, let's hear it.
Monday. Maybe 30 minutes of moderate cardio, like a brisk walk or light jog, followed by about 20 minutes of upper body weights. Tuesday. Could be a longer walk, maybe 45 minutes. Or an easy bike ride, keeping that intensity moderate. Wednesday. Another 30 minutes moderate cardio, then maybe 20 minutes focused on lower body weights, like squats and lunges. Thursday, active recovery day, maybe a yoga class or just some good stretching at home. Focus on flexibility, stress reduction. Friday, a full body strength session, perhaps around 40 minutes total. Saturday, get outdoors, something you enjoy hiking, playing a sport casually with friends, gardening, swimming, make it fun. Sunday, rest day. Or maybe some very gentle yoga or light stretching if you feel like it. But prioritize relaxation and recovery.
Okay, so looking at that, it's maybe 4 or 5 hours total exercise for the whole week.
Roughly, yeah. Very manageable for most people. And notice the built-in recovery days. Those are just as important as the workout days for allowing your body to adapt, repair, and optimize hormone production, including testosterone.
Right, it's not about grinding every single day. It's about consistency and balance.
Exactly. Consistent, balanced self-care, not constant exhaustion.
Okay, fantastic. Let's wrap this up then with the key takeaways. What are the absolute must-remember points for our listeners from this deep dive?
Okay, let's boil it down. First, and maybe most importantly, more exercise is not necessarily better for fertility. Find that moderate sweet spot.
The Goldilocks zone.
Precisely. Second, aim for roughly 150 minutes of moderate cardio per week, plus 2 to 3 moderate strength training sessions.
Okay.
Third, be really mindful of activities that significantly increase heat or sustained pressure in the pelvic area. So limit long bike rides, extended hot yoga, long saunas, keep things cool.
Got it. Heat is the enemy.
Fourth, be patient. Give your body time. It takes about 3 months to see the full impact of these changes reflected in sperm quality.
3 months, okay.
Fifth, remember your mindset matters. Exercise should ideally reduce your overall stress, not become another source of anxiety. Find activities you enjoy.
Keep it positive.
And finally, number 6, if fertility is a top priority right now, and you're currently doing very high volume, high intensity training, seriously consider strategically and temporarily scaling it back.
Okay, those are clear, actionable takeaways. Gives people a real roadmap. So what does this all mean in the bigger picture? How do we connect this back to life beyond just the fertility journey?
Well, that raises a really interesting point, doesn't it? The healthy habits you build, the balanced exercise routine, maybe better nutrition, stress management, while you're focusing on conception. Often, these become lifelong habits.
Right, they stick.
They stick. And those habits don't just benefit you or your chances of pregnancy. They benefit your entire family's health long term. They contribute to the health of the pregnancy, potentially the long-term health of the child, and create a foundation of well-being for everyone. So it's really never too late to start optimizing for a healthier future. Not just for you, but for the whole family unit, potentially for generations.
That's a really profound way to look at it. These choices ripple outwards. It underlines that exercise is one crucial piece, but it fits into that bigger puzzle. Nutrition, sleep, managing stress, avoiding toxins.
Exactly. It's holistic.
Knowledge is power, right?
Right.
Taking control of your health journey, understanding these connections, it's one of the most empowering things you can do. And of course, if you do have specific concerns about your fertility, please talk to a doctor or a specialist.
Absolutely.
But hopefully you now feel better equipped with the knowledge to make informed choices. Find your personal Goldilocks zone and work towards a healthier, more fertile future.